Have you ever wondered what's holding women back from advancing in their careers, even when they work hard and do great work? The audiobook How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job offers empowering answers to this important question. Written by leadership expert Sally Helgesen and best-selling coach Marshall Goldsmith, this inspiring guide focuses on the unique habits and behaviors that often limit women's career growth, without blaming or judging. This audiobook brings light to 12 common habits that many successful women unknowingly carry throughout their professional journey. These habits include things like overvaluing expertise, expecting others to notice your hard work without speaking up, and staying too loyal to a job even when it's no longer helping you grow. The authors gently explain how these habits can keep you from moving forward and offer simple, practical ways to change them. What makes this audiobook so special? It's not about changing who you are, it's about helping you recognize your strengths and use them in better ways. With encouraging stories and easy-to-follow advice, the audiobook helps listeners build confidence, take smart risks, and speak up for themselves in respectful ways. Isn't it amazing when a book truly makes you feel seen and supported? Whether you're starting a new job, hoping for a promotion, or dreaming of something bigger, How Women Rise is a powerful tool to guide you along the way. It's like having a personal coach who truly understands you. So, are you ready to rise higher in your career, feel more confident in your workplace, and break through barriers with grace and strength? This audiobook might be the perfect place to start. Reluctance to claim your achievements, a key habit from How Women Rise. Have you ever done a great job but hesitated to speak up about it? Do you sometimes hope that your hard work will simply be noticed without having to mention it? If so, you're not alone, and you're not doing anything wrong. In the audiobook How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, authors Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith explore why so many women struggle with claiming their achievements and how this can quietly hold them back in their careers. In the chapter on reluctance to claim your achievements, the authors explain that many women have been raised to believe that modesty is a virtue and that it's better to be humble than to brag. While humility is a wonderful quality, Helgesen and Goldsmith show that not speaking up about your accomplishments can make it harder for others, especially decision-makers, to understand your true value. Isn't it important to let people know the good work you're doing? The audiobook gently encourages listeners to shift their thinking. Instead of seeing self-promotion as something negative, think of it as sharing useful information. If you've led a successful project or helped improve your team's performance, wouldn't it be helpful for your boss or organization to know? They might need that knowledge to promote you or include you in new opportunities. The authors provide helpful tips on how to talk about your successes in a way that feels comfortable and natural. One of the suggested techniques is to link your achievements to the goals of the team or company. This way, you're not just highlighting yourself, you're also showing how your work supports the bigger picture. Doesn't that sound like a thoughtful way to express your value? What's especially uplifting about this audiobook is that it doesn't just point out the problem, it offers kind, clear solutions. It reminds listeners that recognizing and sharing your strengths is not only okay but necessary for growth. You're not being pushy or proud, you're being responsible and professional. Helgesen and Goldsmith also include real-life examples of women who learn to speak up about their accomplishments and how it transformed their careers. These stories are both relatable and inspiring, showing that small changes in how you present yourself can lead to big rewards. So, if you've ever felt unsure about saying, "I did this well," this audiobook will guide you gently through that mindset shift. Why not give yourself permission to shine a little brighter? Your hard work deserves to be seen, and How Women Rise can help you find your voice in a way that feels honest and confident. After all, claiming your achievements isn't just about moving up the ladder, it's about owning your journey and feeling proud of what you've accomplished. Isn't that something we all deserve? Expecting others to spontaneously notice and reward your contributions, a gentle wake-up call from How Women Rise. Have you ever felt that working hard and doing your best should naturally lead to recognition or promotion? Many people, especially women, grow up with the belief that effort and results speak for themselves. But in the audiobook How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job by Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith. The authors kindly explain why this belief might need a little adjustment if you want to grow professionally. In the chapter on expecting others to spontaneously notice and reward your contributions, the authors describe how this habit can quietly hold women back in the workplace. While it's completely understandable to want your work to shine on its own, the truth is that leaders and managers are often busy, juggling many responsibilities. They may not always see or remember everything you do, no matter how valuable it is. Isn't that surprising? Helgesen and Goldsmith gently remind us that it's not about being boastful or overly confident. It's about being visible and intentional. If you don't speak up about your efforts, projects, and wins, how will others know? Shouldn't your hard work be shared so it can open the right doors? The audiobook offers helpful and friendly advice on how to let others know what you're contributing. One powerful suggestion is to share updates in a regular and relaxed way. For example, a quick email or team meeting update can highlight what you've done and how it supports your team or company's goals. Doesn't that sound simple and professional? There's also a strong encouragement to stop waiting for someone else to notice. Instead, take small, steady steps to make sure your contributions are seen. This doesn't mean you're demanding attention, it means you're showing leadership in how you present yourself. And isn't that a sign of growth? The authors give inspiring real-life examples of women who learned to change this habit and saw amazing results. These stories make you feel motivated and hopeful. They show that once you start sharing your successes, even just a little, you build confidence and gain more support from others. Isn't that exactly what we all want in our careers? One of the most heartening messages in this chapter is that your work matters. You don't need to wait for praise to feel proud, but it's also perfectly okay to help others see the good things you're doing. After all, why should your great work remain invisible? How Women Rise teaches that being recognized is not about luck, it's about clarity, communication, and courage. Wouldn't it be nice if everyone could feel more comfortable sharing what they've accomplished? By letting go of the idea that rewards will simply appear and instead choosing to share your journey, you empower yourself to move forward with purpose and pride. And isn't that a beautiful thing to rise toward? Overvaluing expertise, why skills alone might not be enough. In the audiobook How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith explore common habits that often limit women's professional growth. One important habit they discuss is overvaluing expertise. Putting too much focus on becoming the best at your job while not giving enough attention to building relationships or thinking about the bigger picture. Have you ever felt that if you just become an expert, everything else will fall into place? This belief often comes from a positive place, a strong work ethic and the desire to do your job well. Being skilled and dependable is, of course, very important. But the authors kindly explain that focusing only on mastering every detail of your work might not be the most effective way to move up in your career. Could it be that being excellent at your job is only part of the puzzle? Helgesen and Goldsmith suggest that while expertise earns you respect, it doesn't always get you noticed by decision-makers or open doors to new opportunities. Sometimes, spending too much time perfecting your tasks means less time connecting with others, creating a strong network, or thinking about your long-term goals. Isn't it helpful to know that you can work smarter, not just harder? The audiobook gently encourages listeners to value not just what they do, but who they know and how they communicate. Strategic relationships with mentors, colleagues, and leaders can help you learn new things, open new doors, and give you the support you need to grow. Doesn't that sound like something worth investing in? Rather than waiting to be ready by mastering every skill, the authors recommend taking small steps to become more visible and connected. Share your ideas in meetings, ask thoughtful questions, and be open to learning from others. When you build connections and let others see your potential, you create more opportunities for advancement. Isn't it exciting to think that progress could come from something as simple as a conversation? The audiobook also shares heartwarming stories of women who realized that their expertise was valuable, but that they needed to balance it with relationship building and strategic thinking. Once they did, their careers blossomed in ways they never expected. Could this be the shift that helps you grow, too? How Women Rise reminds us that while being skilled is a great foundation, true growth often comes from how you connect, share, and show leadership. Instead of staying hidden behind your hard work, why not step forward and be seen? Isn't it empowering to know that you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be present, prepared, and willing to grow beyond your comfort zone? By balancing expertise with visibility and relationships, you rise not just by what you know, but by how you show up. And isn't that a powerful way to move forward? Building rather than building and leveraging relationships, why connections matter. In the inspiring audiobook How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, authors Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith explain that building relationships is just as important as working hard. One habit they highlight is just building rather than building and leveraging relationships. Many people, especially women, spend years creating strong connections but may hesitate to use those relationships to help them move forward in their careers. Have you ever felt unsure about asking for support, even from someone you've helped before? This habit comes from a thoughtful place. Being kind, supportive, and focused on teamwork is something to be proud of. But the authors remind us that relationships are meant to be two-way streets. While it's wonderful to build trust and be generous, it's also okay to receive help and guidance in return. Isn't it nice to know that mutual support makes relationships stronger? The audiobook shares that some professionals believe they must succeed on their own or that asking for help might seem like a burden to others. But what if reaching out actually shows strength, not weakness? Could it be that people in your network are happy to support you, just as you supported them? Helgesen and Goldsmith encourage listeners to not only nurture their networks but also to use them when it matters. Whether it's for advice, a recommendation, or an introduction to a new opportunity, using your relationships can open doors that you might not even know exist. Doesn't that sound exciting? They also explain that successful people often rely on others to grow. It's not about taking advantage, it's about working together and making progress as a team. By asking for guidance or support, you also give your colleagues the chance to contribute to your success. Isn't that a wonderful way to grow together? The audiobook offers simple suggestions like reaching out to mentors more often, staying in touch with former coworkers, and letting your network know what your goals are. Sometimes just having a conversation can lead to unexpected opportunities. Isn't that a small step that could lead to something big? Real-life stories in the audiobook show how women who began to actively use their networks found more confidence and exciting career moves. When they began to see their relationships as valuable resources, they felt more empowered. Could your next career step come from someone you already know? How Women Rise shows us that we don't have to do everything alone. Your network is not just a list of names, it's a living, supportive community. And when you learn how to build and leverage those connections, you open yourself to new paths. Isn't it time to see your relationships not only as a gift but also as a powerful tool for growth? When you do, you'll discover just how far you can go with a little help from those who believe in you. Failing to enlist allies from day one, why building support early matters. In the insightful audiobook How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith highlight an important habit that can hold many professionals back, failing to enlist allies from day one. This habit is about not recognizing the value of building a network of supporters early in your career. Have you ever started a new job or project without considering who might help you along the way? It's natural to think that if you work hard enough, your efforts will be noticed and rewarded. But the authors explain that, while hard work is essential, it's not always enough. You also need people who are rooting for you and willing to offer their help when you need it. Isn't it easier to succeed when you have people supporting you? Enlisting allies from the beginning isn't just about having friends at work. It's about cultivating relationships that can help you grow, learn, and move forward. When you start a new position, what if you made a point of identifying key people who could support your goals and help you navigate challenges? Doesn't it sound wise to have people who can guide you as you climb? Helgesen and Goldsmith suggest that women, in particular, often hesitate to ask for help or build relationships early on, fearing that it might be seen as a sign of weakness. But is it possible that forming these connections could actually make you stronger, as you gain insights and support from those who have experience? Could starting with a foundation of allies make challenges easier to face? The audiobook shares real stories where women who actively sought out allies early on found it easier to rise through the ranks. By identifying mentors, colleagues, and supporters from day one, they were able to move forward more quickly and confidently. Doesn't that sound like a smart approach? By forming these relationships early, you also get to understand the culture of your workplace, gain valuable advice, and avoid unnecessary pitfalls. Plus, having allies can give you the confidence to take on bigger projects or ask for that promotion when the time comes. Wouldn't it be nice to have people cheering for you when you're ready to take the next step? The authors emphasize that building these relationships doesn't have to be time-consuming or complicated. It can be as simple as showing interest in others, offering help when needed, and finding common ground with key people in your workplace. How might small efforts like these lead to powerful support later on? In How Women Rise, the key takeaway is that starting early to enlist allies helps ensure that you're not navigating challenges alone. By investing in relationships from the start, you create a network of people who can encourage you, offer guidance, and help you rise when the opportunities appear. So, what if you started today? Wouldn't it make your journey smoother and your success even more fulfilling to know you have a team of allies supporting you from day one? Putting your job before your career, why balancing today with tomorrow matters. In How Women Rise, break the 12 habits holding you back from your next raise, promotion, or job, authors Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith dive into a key habit that can hold women back in their careers, putting your job before your career. Many people, especially those early in their careers, focus so much on doing the current job well that they forget to think about the long-term goals they want to achieve. But have you ever wondered how focusing too much on day-to-day tasks might prevent you from achieving your bigger dreams? In the audiobook, Helgesen and Goldsmith explain how it's easy to get caught up in the current responsibilities and challenges of your job. After all, you want to do a great job today, right? But if you're only focused on what's immediately in front of you, it's possible to lose sight of the long-term career path that aligns with your true goals. Could focusing only on the present tasks mean you're missing out on opportunities to plan for your future success? The authors emphasize that it's important to manage both the present job and the long-term career. Could it be helpful to carve out time to think about where you want to be in 5 or 10 years, rather than only focusing on what's right in front of you? By planning ahead and thinking strategically, you can create a roadmap for growth, development, and new opportunities that will help you progress in your career. One of the main points in the audiobook is that career advancement is often about more than just excelling at your current tasks. It's about building a skill set, making connections, and positioning yourself for future opportunities. Could working toward those things every day, even in small ways, help you get closer to the career you dream of? The audiobook shares examples of women who spent too much time perfecting their current roles but struggled to move forward because they weren't thinking strategically about the future. They focused so much on doing their job well that they didn't take the time to develop new skills, build networks, or pursue professional growth. Wouldn't it be beneficial to balance the tasks you're doing today with actions that align with your long-term vision? Helgesen and Goldsmith encourage listeners to be proactive in shaping their careers by seeking out opportunities for development, networking, and skill building. They suggest dedicating time each week or month to think about your goals and how you can position yourself for future success. Isn't it worth spending just a little time planning ahead, even while handling your current job responsibilities? By taking charge of your career growth and balancing the tasks of today with the plans for tomorrow, you can take more control over your path and progress. The authors suggest that, with a bit of foresight and planning, you can ensure that you're not just doing well in your job today, but setting yourself up for greater success in the future. So, if you balance the demands of your current job with mindful career planning, could you be laying the foundation for the next exciting chapter in your career? Wouldn't it feel great to know you're making the most of today while paving the way for a bright future ahead? The perfection trap: is striving for flawlessness holding you back? In How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, authors Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith address a common habit that can hold women back in their careers: the perfection trap. This habit involves striving for perfection in everything you do, which may seem like a good idea at first. After all, who wouldn't want to do their best work, right? But have you ever wondered if that constant pursuit of flawlessness could actually be slowing you down? Helgesen and Goldsmith explain that many women feel a strong desire to be flawless in their work, whether it's in meetings, presentations, or everyday tasks. While it's important to deliver quality results, could focusing too much on perfection prevent you from taking risks, moving quickly, or seizing opportunities? They suggest that waiting for everything to be perfect before moving forward can hold you back from progress and growth. Can you imagine how much further you might go if you focus more on getting things done rather than trying to make everything flawless? In the audiobook, the authors share that the desire for perfection often leads to unnecessary delays. You might find yourself spending excessive time perfecting every detail, only to realize that the time and energy spent could have been better used elsewhere. Could it be that, in trying to make everything perfect, you're missing out on the chance to grow, learn, and adapt along the way? Wouldn't it be better to embrace progress rather than perfection and move forward with the knowledge that you'll continue improving as you go? The authors highlight the importance of balance. While striving for high standards is important, it's also important to recognize when good enough is truly enough. Could learning to accept imperfections help you move forward faster and achieve more? Sometimes, being too focused on making something flawless can stop you from even starting or finishing it, which could ultimately limit your opportunities for advancement. Can you see how this might prevent you from moving ahead in your career? Helgesen and Goldsmith suggest that embracing imperfection can open up new opportunities. By allowing yourself to make mistakes and learn from them, you gain valuable experience and develop resilience. Rather than spending all your energy on perfecting every aspect, wouldn't it be better to use that energy to innovate, collaborate, and take action? The audiobook encourages women to be comfortable with being good enough and to focus on progress, not perfection. So, can you imagine the freedom and growth you could experience by letting go of the need for perfection? By recognizing when to move forward instead of getting caught in the perfection trap, you can unlock your potential and make faster strides in your career. Isn't it exciting to think about how much more you could achieve by simply taking action and learning as you go, instead of waiting for everything to be flawless? The audiobook encourages listeners to rethink their approach to work. What if progress, learning, and action are more important than flawless perfection? Wouldn't that make the journey much more rewarding? The disease to please: are you overcommitting to satisfy others? In How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith explore a common habit that can hinder your career progression: the disease to please. This habit involves overcommitting yourself to satisfy others, often at the expense of your own well-being and professional growth. Does this sound familiar? Are you constantly saying yes to others' requests, even when it means stretching yourself too thin? The authors explain that many women tend to focus on being helpful, supportive, and liked, which can lead to a habit of overcommitting. While it's great to want to support your colleagues and boss, could you be doing so at the cost of your own career advancement? Are you sacrificing time and energy that could be used to focus on your own goals? By trying to please everyone, you might find yourself overwhelmed and struggling to manage your own responsibilities. Do you feel like you're always putting others first, even when it negatively impacts your own progress? Helgesen and Goldsmith emphasize that this habit can lead to burnout. When you're constantly trying to meet everyone's expectations, it's easy to neglect your own needs, both personally and professionally. Have you ever found yourself staying late at work to help a colleague, only to realize you've fallen behind on your own tasks? Do you often feel exhausted from juggling too many commitments? The constant pressure to satisfy others can leave you feeling drained and unproductive, which can affect your overall performance and career satisfaction. In the audiobook, the authors suggest that one way to overcome the disease to please is by setting clear boundaries. Are you able to say no when a request doesn't align with your priorities or when you simply don't have the time? Learning to say no doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you someone who values their time and energy. What if you focus more on prioritizing your own goals, rather than trying to meet everyone else's needs? Could you imagine how much more productive and balanced you'd feel if you learned to manage your commitments better? Helgesen and Goldsmith also encourage women to recognize that saying no can be empowering. By saying no to tasks that don't contribute to your personal or career goals, you make room for opportunities that will move you closer to your next promotion or raise. Could embracing this approach help you feel more in control of your career? The audiobook highlights that in order to rise in your career, you need to focus on what truly matters to you. Are you willing to let go of the habit of overcommitting to please others, so that you can focus on your own success and well-being? By setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing your own needs, you can avoid burnout and build a more fulfilling, successful career. Isn't it time to take charge of your career and stop overcommitting to others' expectations? By breaking free from the disease to please, you can open the door to better opportunities, more time for your own growth, and a stronger sense of career satisfaction. Wouldn't that be a step toward the career you truly deserve? Minimizing, are you underestimating your own voice and value? In How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith explore the habit of minimizing, a tendency many women have to downplay their own ideas, contributions, or presence in professional settings. Could this be a habit you've picked up without even realizing it? Are you sometimes holding back from shining, even when you've done something amazing? Minimizing often shows up in small ways, starting sentences with phrases like "I'm not sure, but," or "this might sound silly, but." Even though these words sound polite, they can make your ideas seem less important than they really are. Have you ever given a great suggestion in a meeting but made it sound like just a small thought? Or have you watched someone else take the lead on something you helped build, while you stayed quietly in the background? The authors gently help listeners understand that minimizing isn't a sign of weakness, it's often a habit developed from a desire to avoid sounding arrogant or taking up too much space. Isn't it? Interesting how so many women try to be humble, only to find that it can sometimes stop them from being recognized. Helgesen and Goldsmith remind us that confidence and humility can go hand in hand. You can be proud of your work and still be kind and respectful to others, right? When you minimize your ideas or contributions, others may overlook your talent, not because your work isn't good, but because you didn't fully claim it. Could your next opportunity be just one confident sentence away? Imagine how it would feel to share your achievements clearly and proudly. Would it open doors to new projects, leadership roles, or even that promotion you've been hoping for? The audiobook also offers practical advice for changing this habit. For instance, try noticing when you use minimizing language and gently rephrasing it. Instead of saying, "This might not be a big deal," try, "Here's an idea I believe could really help us." Isn't that a powerful shift? It's not about changing who you are, it's about giving yourself permission to be heard. Helgesen and Goldsmith also encourage women to remember that their ideas have value simply because they are theirs. Could it be that your unique point of view is exactly what your team or company needs right now? When you speak up with clarity and assurance, you inspire others to listen and perhaps even to follow. Breaking the habit of minimizing isn't about becoming someone else. It's about learning to show up as your true self, with all the strength, creativity, and wisdom you already have. Isn't it time to stop shrinking your light and start letting it shine? By becoming more aware of the habit of minimizing and replacing it with confident communication, you take a beautiful step forward in your career journey. Don't you deserve to be recognized for the full value you bring? Too much? Are you giving more information than needed? In How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, authors Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith shine a gentle light on a habit many professional women may not even realize they have: giving too much information. Have you ever found yourself over-explaining a point during meetings or adding extra details in emails, just to make sure you're fully understood? While it often comes from a place of helpfulness, could it actually be getting in your way? This habit of providing too much can sometimes dilute the power of your message. Instead of your key points standing out clearly, they can get lost in the extra information. Isn't it interesting how the desire to be thorough might unintentionally take the focus away from your most important ideas? Helgesen and Goldsmith explain that this habit often comes from a deep desire to be accurate, prepared, and supportive, all positive traits. But when taken too far, it can leave others feeling overwhelmed or confused. Could there be moments where saying less might actually help you be heard more clearly? The authors encourage listeners to ask, what is the core message I want to share? What do people really need to know to move forward? By focusing on clarity and purpose, you can express yourself in a way that feels strong and centered. Doesn't it feel empowering to think you can communicate effectively without overloading your listener? Another common reason women tend to give too much information is a desire to avoid being misunderstood or judged. Have you ever felt the need to justify your ideas before anyone even questions them? The audiobook gently suggests that trusting your own voice and judgment can help you feel more confident and can help others trust you more as well. A helpful tip from the book is to practice summarizing your thoughts in just 1 or 2 sentences before going into details. This way, your listener gets the main idea right away. Isn't it amazing how a little structure can make a big difference in how your ideas are received? Helgesen and Goldsmith also remind us that not every detail matters in every conversation. Learning to read your audience and adjust your communication style is a smart way to grow professionally. Could simplifying how you share ideas be one of the easiest ways to boost your impact? The too much habit is not about talking too much, it's about learning to share your brilliance in a focused way. You don't have to prove your value by explaining everything. Your ideas are strong enough to stand on their own, aren't they? By becoming more mindful of this habit, you can make space for your message to shine through clearly and confidently. Isn't it exciting to think that you already have what it takes, you just need to trust it and let it speak? Ruminating. Are you holding on to past mistakes? In How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, authors Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith explore a habit that many women experience, often without even noticing: ruminating. Have you ever replayed a conversation over and over in your mind, wondering if you said the right thing? Or worried for days about a decision you made, even after it was already done? Ruminating means overthinking or dwelling on past events, especially decisions or mistakes. It's a very human thing to do, after all. Don't we all want to learn from our experiences? But Helgesen gently reminds us that when we stay stuck in those thoughts, it can slow us down. Could holding on to the past actually keep you from moving forward with confidence? One reason many women ruminate is because they care deeply about doing well and making thoughtful choices. That's a beautiful quality. But when that care turns into constant self-questioning, it can make it harder to take action, trust ourselves, or focus on what's next. Isn't it possible that letting go might help us grow even more? The authors suggest that instead of going over mistakes again and again, it can be more helpful to ask, what did I learn? What will I do differently next time? Isn't that a healthier and more uplifting way to grow? Ruminating can also impact our energy and peace of mind. When your thoughts are filled with worry or regret, it becomes harder to stay present and enjoy the moment. Wouldn't it feel better to give yourself permission to move on? A great insight from the audiobook is that most people around us are not thinking about our mistakes as much as we are. Isn't that a relief to know? Often, we're our own toughest critics. By being kinder to ourselves, we create space for growth, creativity, and confidence. The book offers gentle strategies to break the habit of ruminating. One helpful tip is writing down your thoughts to release them from your mind. Another is talking with someone you trust, who can give you perspective and remind you of your strengths. Could reaching out sometimes be the first step toward letting go? Helgesen also encourages us to focus on the present and future rather than the past. Instead of saying, "I should have done that differently," you can say, "Next time, I'll try this approach." Doesn't that feel like a more encouraging and forward-thinking way to live? Ultimately, ruminating comes from a place of caring, but it doesn't have to hold you back. What if you could learn to trust yourself more and let go of worries that no longer serve you? Wouldn't that create more freedom to shine in your career and life? By recognizing and gently releasing the habit of ruminating, you open the door to new possibilities, clearer thinking, and greater peace of mind. Isn't that a beautiful way to rise? Letting your radar distract you, are you paying attention to everyone but yourself? In How Women Rise, Break the 12 Habits Holding You Back from Your Next Raise, Promotion, or Job, authors Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith shine a light on a habit that many women may not even realize is slowing them down, being overly aware of other people's needs, feelings, and expectations. This is called letting your radar distract you. But what if this strength, when overused, is making it harder to focus on your own goals? Women are often praised for their emotional intelligence, their ability to listen, to understand others, and to tune into how people feel in a room. Isn't that a wonderful gift? It helps build strong relationships and a supportive environment. But Helgesen reminds us that if this radar is always turned outward, it can become a distraction. Could it be that constantly scanning for how others feel leaves little room for thinking about what you truly want? The audiobook gently explains that when you're always checking if everyone is okay, happy, or comfortable, you might forget to ask yourself, am I okay? Am I happy? Am I moving toward my dreams? If your energy is spent meeting everyone else's needs, where does that leave your own progress? This habit can show up in meetings, conversations, or even everyday decisions. Have you ever adjusted your words or ideas too much just to avoid offending someone? Or taken on extra work to help others, even when you had no time? These actions come from kindness, but are they also keeping you from moving forward? Helgesen and Goldsmith offer thoughtful advice on how to bring your radar back into balance. One helpful idea is to pause and reflect before reacting. Ask yourself, is this my responsibility? Or is this the best use of my energy right now? Wouldn't it feel empowering to put your own needs on the list too? The book also encourages you to create space to focus, to turn the radar inward sometimes. Can you imagine how powerful it would be to trust your own direction without always second-guessing it based on what others might think? This doesn't mean turning off your caring nature. In fact, your ability to connect and support others will still shine, just not at the cost of your own growth. Isn't it inspiring to think that you can be kind and confident, supportive and self-directed? By learning to manage your radar, you start to protect your time, your goals, and your focus. You give yourself permission to lead, to dream, and to rise, not just for others, but for yourself too. And when you do that, don't you think you'll be even more effective, fulfilled, and ready to grow? Helgesen's message is clear and encouraging. You don't need to change who you are, you simply need to reclaim your energy and let it guide your future. Isn't that a beautiful step forward? Conclusion: a new way forward. Can you rise with confidence and clarity? The audiobook How Women Rise by Sally Helgesen and Marshall Goldsmith offers an inspiring and thoughtful journey through the 12 habits that can quietly hold women back from career growth. But instead of focusing on blame or pressure, this book gives hope and guidance. Isn't it refreshing to hear that small changes can make a big difference? Throughout the book, the authors help listeners understand how certain well-meaning behaviors, like working too hard without asking for recognition, being too helpful, or striving to be perfect, may unintentionally slow progress. But isn't it empowering to know these habits can be changed with awareness and support? The conclusion of How Women Rise brings all the lessons together with kindness and encouragement. It reminds women that they already have the talent, the drive, and the skills to succeed. Sometimes all that's needed is a shift in mindset. Could it be time to believe more in your own voice, your value, and your vision? Rather than trying to fix yourself, the book invites you to grow by letting go of habits that no longer serve you. Wouldn't it feel good to move forward with more confidence and less self-doubt? The final message is uplifting. Women don't have to choose between being kind and being successful. You can lead, speak up, and rise while staying true to yourself. Isn't that what real success looks like? With warmth and wisdom, How Women Rise helps women everywhere take brave, simple steps toward the future they deserve. So, what habit will you rise above today?